watch it on michaels.com/classes and on our YouTube channel within 48 business hours. Alrighty, Joe, take it away.
All right. What's happening, everyone? Happy Friday the 13th. That's crazy. I know Friday the 13th in this year, 2020, is already wild enough. But before we start, it is also World Kindness Day. That's right. I didn't want to say National Kindness Day. It's World Kindness Day, which we need more of. So I ask of you today, go be kind to a stranger, whether it's on social media or in person. Just be kind. That's what we need in this world. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day today to tune in for this class. I am Joe with Siser North America. Feel free to keep letting us know where you're watching from in the chat sidebar there. Make sure that you are clicked to everyone because we definitely want to see who's on here. We want to see your questions. So most importantly, if you have questions along the way, that is going to be the best spot to put them. And then Maddie is going to cut me off and make sure we answer your questions. If you're watching this later, awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's right. We are already in November. The last class I had, I was talking to everybody about Halloween. I hope everyone had an okay Halloween if you had one. The project I did last time with Michaels was actually decorating one of their crates. They provided me a wood crate, and I decorated it with EasyPSV, which is the product we're going to be talking about today. But I used one of our specialty types of EasyPSV that Michaels now carries, which is our chalkboard EasyPSV. So if you missed that, you can check that class out later. And I'm also going to show the chalkboard in this class as well. But today, what we're going to be talking about, or before we get started, for those that are still tuning in, my number one lesson every class, for those who've been in this class, you already know, it is how to properly pronounce Siser. So S-I-S-E-R, when you see that at Michael's stores, it is pronounced Siser. That's right. So thank you for walking away with that at least. So yes, I am with Siser North America. Just a quick backstory. We are manufacturers, so we produce the products that you may have used, that you see at Michael's, whether there are heat transfer vinyls like Easy Weed, Glitter, Holographic, or with our EasyPSV line, which is what I'm showing you today. So just in case you didn't know, PSV stands for pressure sensitive vinyl. So that is where you don't need to use a heat press or an easy press or a home iron. It is all decal vinyl. So we do have a wide variety at Michael's right now between our permanent and our removable. So whether you want a flat color and you want to decorate something with decal vinyl, you have the option of choosing either a permanent or a removable. But what Michael's has just added now, which I personally absolutely love this product. I know it sounds biased, but it's the one EasyPSV line I think I use a lot of. And that is what we're going to be showing mostly today. And that is our Etch. So Etch, I know it's not very exciting when I show you a sheet of Etch because it's got the white paper backing on it, so it looks a little opaque here. But Etch EasyPSV is exactly what it sounds like. It's a decal vinyl that will allow you to achieve that etch effect without having to use etching creams or any kind of other tool that you would possibly do for etching. I've used etching creams before briefly, and I know that it's a little bit more of a setup and there's a little bit more steps to it, and it can be messy. It can be kind of pricey. Nothing wrong with it because you're literally etching into the glass that you're decorating. But with the EasyPSV Etch adhesive vinyl, you get that same great effect. You don't have to worry about the etching creams or any kind of real setup other than just putting it on your vinyl cutter with like other vinyl and cut it out. And that's it. And it's also a permanent. So again, when I say permanent and removable, you guys know it's pretty much what it sounds like. They're both adhesive, but permanent is obviously going to last a lot longer once it's on your substrate. Removable, it sounds deceiving because it sounds like you could just take it off and put it on another thing and take it off and put it on. It just means that it's a little bit easier to remove off of whatever substrate it is in less time than with permanent. They also have different finishes depending on what you want. But with etch, it is a permanent. And a way to tell the difference between a permanent and a removable with our EasyPSV is simply looking at the back, the paper backing of the EasyPSV. So in this case, it is a gray gridded background on the paper backing. So that is an indicator that is a permanent EasyPSV. Now, if you see a mint color backing grid line on the back, then that is an indicator that it is a removable EasyPSV. So that's just a little trick when you are at your Michaels store and you see it, and it may not be labeled because maybe you're getting sheets of it, but if you get packs, they are labeled whether they're removable or permanent. So does anyone have questions before we get going?
No questions yet. I think everyone's ready to see your work, your magic.
Awesome. So I'm going to do an easy, like a simple project. I always tell people I am not a professional crafter like the rest of the brilliant people that do these classes. I am more the educator of the products that my company manufactures. So that's what I do. So if it's kind of underwhelming, I apologize in advance. But what we're going to do today are we're going to decorate some of these awesome mini mason jars that Michael's hooked me up with. And Maddie will provide the link for these. They're just little containers. They're plastic, so it's not glass. But I'm going to just decorate it as if it was glass. I am also going to just put a piece of chalkboard on the top. I can show you kind of what I'm going to try to do as a finished product. So this is what it looks like when it's done. And we're going to decorate that. That's the etch. And then on top is the chalkboard that I already drew on with chalk markers. So we're going to do that real fast. And I got another one here. So we'll do two of these. And I'm going to show you a little like tip and trick when it comes to applying the etch glass. Because again, it is a permanent. So you do want to be cautious of how you put it onto your glass or plastic, especially if it's curved, like what we're going to be doing today. Now, what a lot of our customers that I see use our Etch EasyPSV is on window glass that might be in the front of their store. So if you have a storefront or if you're decorating your house or something where it's just flat glass or maybe your car window, now that's pretty simple because you can just place it directly onto the flat glass. Another thing to remember too is whether you want it on the outside or the inside of the glass. Now, if you put it on the inside of the glass, you got to remember that you have to mirror your cut. Does that make sense? So like if you're looking at the glass and it looks normal, it reads normal, that's because someone may have put it on the front and cut it normally without mirroring it. But if you didn't want to worry about anything, you know, someone picking it off or over time it peeling off, and you wanted to have it on the inside of your glass, remember when you put it to your vinyl cutter that you have to mirror it. So it's going to be in reverse. Does that make sense? I hope so. So for those that don't know, with EasyPSV, typically, look, if you're just going to put it onto a substrate, you do not mirror your cut transfer. Unlike with heat transfer vinyl, when you put it onto your shirt, like what I did with this shirt, you have to mirror it when you send it to your vinyl cutter. So when you heat apply it, it reads normal. So in this case, I sent it to my vinyl cutter and I cut it I cut it without mirroring it. I know you can't see it. It's very difficult to see. It is cut. It is also very, very important to make sure that you do test cuts when it comes to working with any EasyPSV as well. You do not want to cut too deep. And I'm pretty positive I cut this one like relatively deep. So you'll notice why some of the issues you will run into when you are masking your EasyPSV if you cut it too deep. The reason why, especially with permanent adhesives, when you cut too deep and you add that pressure around your cut line, you end up actually imprinting it into the paper backing. So that can be a problem. So make sure when you do your test cut, whether you're using a Cricut, whether you're using a Silhouette, whatever vinyl cutter you're using, you always perform a test cut first. And once you have your test cut, you should be good to go. Just make sure that that paper backing isn't lifting up too much.
Joe, we did have a question.
Absolutely.
Someone was wondering if it will look the same whether either side when you put it on glass, if you put it on the inside or on the...
That's a great... Absolutely, yes. So that is a fantastic question. So either side you put it on, it is going to look exactly the same. So even if you have it on the adhesive side, it's going to look the exact same. And that goes with all of our EasyPSV. So if you're using other EasyPSV colors, again, I'm only using edge glass, so this is a transparent material. But if you're using colors and you want to essentially perform the same thing and have it on the inside of your window or the inside of your glass, all you have to do is make sure that you mirror that. Other than that, the color is going to look exactly the same.
Another good question on that note, if you put it on the inside of something, is it food safe or liquid safe?
Yes, it is food safe and liquid safe, but you don't want to ever heat it up with something. So that is where you also want to be careful. So if you put it onto something that, like a plate or a cup or something, just remember that it is not microwavable safe. So you don't want to do that if you know that that's what's going to happen. You also don't want to put it in a dishwasher. You want to hand wash all your decals, but other than that, it is safe. That would be probably the one area, if you were putting it on anything that you would put into a microwave, then actually doing the etching process could be the better option. So as you can tell, I went really fine detail with this cut. Another thing to remember when it comes to permanent adhesives, like the ones Etch that I'm using today, be careful when you are weeding that it doesn't overlap, because sometimes, you know, when you're weeding and the excess sticks to the top of something that it isn't supposed to, just be cautious of how you're peeling it, because it could stick to each other, and then if it sticks to itself, it could be a problem trying to get it to lift off of it. All right, so I got everything weeded. Now this is a little bit of a better look to what we're going to be lifting off. I hope you can see it. There you go. So as you can see, apologize if any glare or anything. So I'm going to be doing two different designs for two different mason jars. Now this is what it looks like when it's done. Now the next step you're going to do is make sure that you use our application tape, which I know it looks oddly similar to the etch glass, but this is the way to tell, is because the paper backing does not have any grid lines on it. The grid lines are actually on the mask. So this is the application tape. So it's very important to make sure that you're using the right application tape. And with our application tape, it does, like I said, it has grid lines. And so if you ever need any help like lining something up or making sure your angles are correct, it is a very helpful tool. So what I like to do on a flat surface, I start in the center and kind of roll it out with my application tape. Now, you want to make sure you're using a squeegee. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of squeegee you're using. The one we have, the Siser one, has the plastic end and the felt tip end, which is helpful when it comes to application. When I do my squeegeeing, I like to actually do the pressure with the transfer upside down. This way, when I lay and apply pressure with my squeegee, I can use gravity to help push the transfer onto application tape. Now, this is where you're going to tell if you cut too deep, which I think I did. Now, if you lift it up, yeah, so if you lift it up and it doesn't come up with the application tape, it's because I cut too deep. And that's what I did here. So it's not a big deal. You might have to take a little more time just to make sure you get the lifting. You do not want any of that paper to come up with the etch, because if the etch adhesive end is blocked by paper, it is obviously not going to stick to your substrate. And I'll show you, because some of the paper did kind of come up on this, which is easily removed, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, so if you can kind of see it in some of the parts, yeah, you see where that paper is right here? Like those areas, if I went to try to apply that, then it wouldn't stick, like even on this little circle here, but the rest of it's good. So I could tell on my paper backing that I had, you can see where it kind of peeled up. That's because my pressure may have been a little too high. So it is important to make sure that you set your pressure accordingly. Now on our website, just a little shameless plug, at SiserNA.com, we do have all of our recommended cut settings, but I'm just forewarning you that our recommended cut settings are just what we recommend. It doesn't mean that it's going to cater exactly to the condition of your vinyl cutter. So you need to know whether or not your blade might be a little older, which can affect it. You have to know whether your cutting strip, all your things are in good condition. What we recommend is just a ballpark idea of where you should be at when it comes to cutting. Okay. All right, so I have my two different designs good to go. This was the other part I just kind of wanted to show you guys when it comes to really, it doesn't have to just be etch, but any kind of vinyl that you're going to put around a curved object. So what I'm going to do is obviously put it on the outside of this mason jar, but as you can tell, it's curved. So what can happen, and some of you may have run into this issue before, is when it comes to curved objects, the rigidity of the application tape may not form as nicely around that edge. So what I'm just going to show you is an easy trick that we do. Well, I'm sure a million people do it, but it's just relief cuts is what we call it. And all that is what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the excess of my application tape so it gets a little bit closer to the transfer. So I have my transfer. Now it's a good chance that I could lay this down and it could just kind of like fold over appropriately. But just in case it doesn't, what I'm going to do is in the areas in between some of my bigger parts, I'm going to just simply cut. Not cut the image itself, but I'm going to cut the application tape. So now cutting the application tape actually helps form around the edges. So I can take my time curving it around the awkward, you know, curvature of whatever you're putting it on. So all I'm going to do is add a couple simple application relief cuts. So if you can see it, now I kind of butterflied it. Does this make sense?
Yes, it's actually perfect timing. We had a few questions in chat about possibly
Absolutely.
applying this to an ornament. So would you use the same trick?
Yes, you would. And I was going to do some ornaments today, but then I found out that Michaels wants me to do another class in December. So I figured I would show you guys then. But I will show you the finished product of an ornament that I did with Etch. But yes, that's exactly it. Whether you're doing ornaments, whether you're doing glasses, like wine glasses, or something that you want to decorate for a gift, and you want to etch something in it, or use etched glass, EasyPSV, this is what you would do. And like I said, you be the judge of how you place your relief cuts. You want to go in kind of close, but not cut into the design itself. So then once you have that, I think we should be okay. But take your time, you know, have a better setup than me. And what you're going to do is, what I like to do is I'll start with the center part of my etch transfer. And I'm going to start with that and just stay with one side only. Don't lay it down. Don't let it touch too long, because if both sides fall down, I'm blocking it with this, with my hand, because if both sides fall down, like I said, it is a permanent adhesive. So once it goes down, it might be difficult to lift it up and adjust it. So take your time. And now what I'm doing is I got to the part where I have my cut, which is nice because now I can take my time applying that last little bit. And if you go along the way and you realize you need more cuts, you can absolutely do that. Just make sure that it doesn't touch the substrate yet. Okay, and I'm just cruising along. I hope you can see it. And I'm just using my thumb for now. And again, I'm at another relief cut here, which is nice because it's not bubbling up like it normally would if you didn't. And I'm just going to place this around the edge. Kind of difficult doing it at this angle. Sorry, that was awkward.
We had a question, maybe you know the answer. Someone asked, can you use the wet method to apply the etch?
Yeah, you can do that as well if you need to. That'll give you a little bit of time. That'll give you a little wiggle room on laying it down. But you can do that.
And then also a question about the transfer tape. Do you have varying degrees of strength of transfer tape?
That's a great question too. As of now, we don't. We only have our one medium tack transfer tape. So it does work on all of our EasyPSV line, and it isn't overly abrasive on some other finicky substrates such as the drywall. Like drywall can be questionable. It's a very medium tack, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. But that's as of now. We only have one application tack or application tape tack. So great question. All right, I have it down, but you still want to make sure you go back and apply a little bit of pressure and make sure that you get all the edges down as flat as you can. I'm just using the felt side, so it's not kind of scratching into the design or causing any kind of ripples. And then once it's on, just peel against itself. And you can take your time there just to see whether or not anything might have not been down completely. And there you go. Perfect. So that is that. I'm going to do another one now, and then we'll go into the chalkboard.
We had a question.
Sure.
If you use this for Christmas decorations on your window, how do you get it off after the holidays?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of problems getting it off because it is a permanent adhesive. It's not impossible. It's just going to be very, very difficult to do it. I wouldn't advise putting it on anything that you don't expect it to stick around on. That's my only suggestion.
And then we also had a question, since we mentioned wet method earlier, where can we send people if they want to learn more about how to apply the vinyl using the wet method?
I don't know if we have full documentation. One of my coworkers, though, is an absolute professional when it comes to all sorts of application with our EasyPSV. I'll put her email in the chat room here. So if you guys want to, you can ask her any suggestions on different methods, steps. I think she might have blogs on that, but here, I'm gonna just send that. This is her email. Sweet, it's in there. She might have, I think she might have a blog or two, or maybe a video. Not entirely sure. I know we can definitely help you out though. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. I'm going to cruise along. Another application. I'm doing the same exact thing as I did before with the relief cuts. So I just cut kind of into the edges, kind of right where you see there might be a problem on the curve. So I know like at the neck of the guitar to the body, I kind of cut into the angle there to the acoustic end of it. So what I'm going to do, same as last time, but this time I'm going to start from one end and just kind of roll it over. Okay, so start on one end. I'm just going to use my finger to kind of find that crease. And again, use that hinge, or not hinge method, but the relief cut. Came on an angle, I'm doing this all awkwardly.
We had a question.
Mm-hmm.
When do you do angled release cuts and when do you do vertical?
So relief cuts are mainly for anything that might be like this, where it's kind of on a curved platform. So anything when it's going across like that. Now this is just using relief cuts for things that have that curvature. Now, again, there's all sorts of different application for EasyPSV. Now, if you have larger images, there's what they call the hinge method. There's the barn door method. There's all sorts of different methods. I'm not going to completely confuse you on this class. I apologize. Again, you can feel free to reach out to us. We'll take you through step-by-step of all different applications. It's just for a project like this where it's rounded and has maybe a little bit more of that beveled effect to it where you want to go around those edges. This is where we're going to do the relief cuts. So that's what I did for this one, just like the last. So if you're doing glasses, if you're doing mason jars like this, if you're doing really anything that has a rounded edge, maybe your car, like I've been seeing people put etch on their lights on their cars, the back lights of their cars. So the brake lights, that's what I'm trying to say. So they put the brake lights, they'll put etch glass, like an image on that, which actually looks really cool because when the brake light goes on, it illuminates red through the etch. So you can actually see the design. So it's a pretty cool project idea.
We had another question from Kathy. She's wondering where you got that design that you're using for those jars.
I actually just made it up. So I was gonna, I know you can't see it, it says rock and roll guitar. I was just gonna throw it out there. I'm a musician. I play guitar, drums, all the fun stuff. So why I wanted to do this, because this is where it comes into the fun now. So I have both of these I came up with, just simple little jars. I was trying to figure out what I could do with these, right? Like, I know you guys probably will come up with a million awesome ideas to utilize these 4-ounce mason jars. I'm sure you'll come out with a million cool ideas. But for me, as a musician, what I find all over the place and all over my house, guitar picks galore. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So the first thing when I got these sent from Michaels, I was like, what am I going to do with these? And I was like, well, I have guitar picks that are literally all over the place, and I can never find them when I need them. So I was like, well, I'll make a jar that I can hold guitar picks, or if it isn't guitar picks, this is where it's going to be fun because you don't have to commit to that. So I just basically just made these etch glass designs, right? It shows a guitar in there, music notes. This is obviously a guitar. It says rock and roll, but this is where I'm going to have the added extra to put on top, right? So this is just, you know, the plastic tin tops. So this is where I'm going to incorporate the Siser EasyPSV chalkboard. Now, this is a removable EasyPSV. I talked about this before. That's right. It is a chalkboard decal vinyl that we have that you can draw on with chalk. So what I did is I just measured out the top of the area, the flat area of this mason jar, and simply cut out a circle. Now you don't need an application tape because this is only one piece. It's a solid piece. And again, it's removable, so it's a little bit easier to reposition if you need to. I'm gonna lay that down on the top of these. Again, I'm just peeling and sticking. So this is where you get to be creative. I have the two tops. You get to come up with what you want to put on them. But again, and I literally had to have my coworker draw this because I can't, I'm a terrible drawer, but for laughing purposes, I'm going to attempt to recreate what she did. But what I'm using, and Maddie's got a link for these too, but these are just simply chalk markers. So whether you're using chalk markers or whether you're using just regular chalk, like the Crayola chalk, if you saw my class last time, that's what I used to decorate the chalk on the Halloween crate I did. But for this, I figured I'd try these chalk markers. So these are pretty cool. They're just Craft Smart chalk markers. I'm just gonna try to write guitar. Oh boy.
We're not going to judge you, Joe.
Please don't judge me. Did I mention that it's World Kindness Day? All right, hers is a lot cooler, but I'm gonna try to add like a new effect to it or something.
And Joe, you can use any type of chalk for that, right? On the chalkboard PSV?
Yes. So for the chalkboard PSV, it doesn't take much. Any types of chalk, whether you're using chalk markers, chalk crayons, regular chalk, sidewalk chalk, whatever you want, you can draw on. So I just tried to recreate it. It's not as cool, but that's what I did. Guitar picks. Hers is a lot cooler. I put a smiley face on it though. Also, I'm on the spot. But just to show you guys, Southpaws, that's right. And then just simply, just like my dreams, I'm going to erase it. So what you'd need to do is just damp a paper towel or a cloth, whatever it is. That's all you have to do with some water. Take that. Don't want to see it anymore. Simply going to clean it right off. And there you go. Like it never happened. This didn't happen. But we can start fresh and you can label it whatever you want, time and time again. So if you didn't want to just commit to guitar picks, but I'm going to keep that. And then I can simply take my mess of guitar picks, place them all into its actual home now. So they're not all over my house. And when I need them, there they are. So I'm going to place this right next to my guitar and make sure that I have that ready to go for any of those that want to jam. So that was the class. What did you guys think of the project?
I think it went great. We do have a few questions in chat if we'd like to go through them.
Absolutely. Please feel free to ask.
Lisa was wondering if you could show us a sample of what it looks like with regular chalk. Do you have any regular chalk on hand?
Regular chalk, yeah. I have this. It makes a great mess. I can tell you that. I did check out the video after this on the Michael's YouTube channel, and I did do one of these awesome wood crates, and I used chalk on that. But I will show you with this. But these are just regular, normal chalk, and I'll just keep it simple and draw a smiley face. But yeah, that's it. And the regular chalk, that's all it takes. Ideally, if you do something small like this, you're going to want to have like a tip to work with. But that's it. And then wipe it right off, and that's all it takes. So chalk crayons, regular chalk, chalk markers, that works with the Siser EasyPSV chalkboard, I should say. So that link should be in there too. But yeah, have fun with it. There's so much stuff you can do with it. But again, my personal favorite of our EasyPSV line that I use a lot is this etch. I like it. I love the regular way to do etch. Don't get me wrong, for those that do that, it is a great process. Again, that is completely permanent. You are completely altering the body of that glass. But I think you're restricted to just glass. I don't think you can use it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can etch plastic. I could be wrong though, but this is plastic. So again, anything that is transparent and you want to add that etch effect, this is something that you can definitely use on all sorts of stuff. And even if you use etch over another color, you can think about that too. If you wanted to maybe give it a little bit of that smoky effect or a two-toned effect, you could put etch over our regular flat colored permanent products. Just remember, it's a permanent adhesive. So as soon as you put it on there, you don't have long until you can try to take it off. But once it's set on there for at least like 24 hours, that's another thing to remember. Once you put it on there, give it about 24 hours before you even wash it or anything like that. Let the adhesive fully bond to whatever substrate it is, and you should be good to go. It should not ever really come off unless you're really trying. So it's a lot of fun.
We had a couple other miscellaneous questions.
Sure.
First one, do you have any colored etch paper?
No, unfortunately, we don't right now. That's why I was just kind of suggesting if you wanted to create your own, you'd need two different products and put the regular etch over something else. But it's, you know what I mean? If you put a solid color behind it, it's going to become opaque. So it's not going to be the transparent or the smoky finish like etch has.
Oh, and someone said, don't forget to show us your ornaments.
Oh, yeah. So again, thankfully, Michaels wants me to do one more class in December, I think, for the last of 2020. And it'll be right before Christmas. I was going to show you in this class, but let's save it. But real quick, just to show you an example of what I was kind of planning. And again, I'm not a crafter. Please don't judge too much. I just kind of whipped these up because this is another thing. And I put glitter in there, but you can see the candy cane etch on there. And these are ornaments that come just blank at Michael's. And then you see the Christmas tree in there. And I just threw in some glitter in there. I mean, I'll show you what I did in the next class because I'll make it all holiday Christmas themed. But these are basically the blank Christmas bulbs that I used. And I know that that's a very popular thing. A lot of people are going on right now doing classes for that already. So it's pretty awesome. But I do want to keep showing you stuff with etch. Another quick plug of new stuff that we have at Michael's is these art book packs for those that are looking for art influence. We have 3 different art book packs available at Michael's that all have a different theme to them. So this one I've been using a lot in the last few months. which are two designs that I just put on that ornament. But when you get these art book packs, it's a USB that has all the artwork that is on the inside of this. All this clip art is available for you. You do not have to do anything. It's already pre-made artwork that has various themes. Now, again, this one is holidays. So in it, I used a lot for Halloween. Thanksgiving is coming up. Christmas is coming up. And then you have all the beginning of 2021, all the holidays then, and then more. So these are all manipulative. You could change them around, change colors, size them however you want. They're all vector files. And then we have one that's for special occasions. And again, when you open it up, it's got all sorts of different special occasions that you might be interested in. This is where etch glass might excel, because a lot of special occasions like weddings, baby showers, gender reveal, like all that stuff, you could already decorate like glasses with etch on it, with these, whatever it is. Have a lot of fun with it. And then lastly, we have one with sports. So this is all sports themed, and whenever we're ready, sports will pick back up, I'm sure. But yeah, those are all available in these art book packs whenever you're looking for that. And then again, the tools I use, I always plug this because the weeder here is one of my all-time favorites. This is the Siser weeder. This tool helps me, whether it's heat transfer vinyl, EasyPSV. This is a great tool. Or for EasyPSV, some people actually prefer to use tweezers. We now have tweezers available as a tool as well, separately, or you can get a package deal. And these are all available now at Michael's. So sorry, I had to do a quick plug on that because I think it's very awesome, helpful stuff when people ask about where they can get going and get started. So everything you need is definitely available for you. Any last minute questions?
We have one last question.
Absolutely.
Asking about the heat resistance level of the vinyls. Is it okay to put it on the outside of a mug or something, or is it not okay to do that with the vinyls? If you're wanting to drink hot coffee. Mm-hmm.
You are absolutely fine putting it on the outside of a coffee cup, and if it has liquid in it, it's totally fine. The only problems we've seen before have been when you put it in a dishwasher. So even if after you're done drinking your coffee and you're going to go wash it, we do recommend hand washing it. But even if you use hot water, like most people do to wash their dishes, it's not going to peel off the decal. The only problems we've seen is when it goes into a dishwasher, you're dealing with higher temperatures, but you're also dealing with the chemical turning into a type of mist that could potentially eat away at the decal. And then when you go into a microwave, the microwave, obviously with the heat, is going to eventually deteriorate or weaken the adhesive. But hand washing, the temperature of the mug when you have coffee in it or tea or whatever, hot liquids, perfectly fine.
All right, perfect. I think
soap
that's
is okay
about it.
too.
Perfect. Alrighty then, if we don't have any more questions, I think that is it for us today. Thank you so much for Joe for showing us this wonderful project, and thank you everyone in chat for learning with us.
Yes, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Make sure you follow us on social medias too. Just look up Siser North America. We got a lot of educational stuff. Big shout out to Michaels for having me on again. Everything I showed you in this video today is available at Michaels. So if you have any questions there, but we are more than happy to help you with anything regarding Siser if you reach out to us. So thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And again, it is World Kindness Day. So please be kind to one another. Go do something awesome for a stranger, whether it's a compliment or something. Just be kind to one another. I'll talk to you all very soon. Have a great day.